Hello, good evening to my viewers. I hope everyone is doing good. About some few months ago, I made a broadcast on the implementation of some regulations that the Portuguese government was planning to put in place for immigrants who are currently living in Portugal, whether legal or illegal, all for the sake of the coronavirus. Because the government realized that the economy of Portugal is being supported by immigrants who are mainly the workforce in the country. So they decided to make an implementation which will allow immigrants who are currently living in Portugal but are not regularized to get access to the benefit which was given to some immigrants at the time given frame when the corona started. But recently, the government has come up with another good information or good news which will help immigrants who are still in the process of documentation acquisition to benefit from all public service activities such as the healthcare system, the social security system, and others. When you come to Portugal, mostly it takes a lot of time before you can process the document because there are a lot of processes that you need to go through. There's submitting an application for a residence permit, which is called manifestation of interest. And before one can get these done, it can take you up to a year or a year and a half before all these processes can be completed. So the government has realized that about 249,000 immigrants are in the country that are in the process of regularization but are not able to access the social or the public services which they must be entitled to. So the government has put in place certain um, mechanisms or certain laws that will help them to also benefit from their sweat, because at least once you are working in Portugal, it means that you are contributing to the growth of the economy because you pay social security to the government. So I want to indulge your audience to listen to the information from the ministry, and that says the Portuguese government has decided to provisionally regularize until March 31st, 2021. So immigrants who are in the process of document acquisition are going to be regularized until 31st March 2021. All immigrants with lawsuit pending in the SEF who have filed between March 18th and October 15th, thus allowing them to access to social rights such as the National Health Service. So if you are an immigrant and you live in Portugal and you have applied for or you have put in your manifestation of interest and you are in the process of your residence permit acquisition, this is going to affect you because it says that those who filed between March 18th and October 15th. So if you are within this date range, it means that you are part of the law, which is going to be beneficial to us all. However, the Jesuit Refugee Service considered that the application of this measure should be not only during the current pandemic, but it should be always, The Jesuit Refugee Service is an organization that is helping immigrants in the country, and they think that the government should not put in only these measures when there is a pandemic or when there is a state of emergency, but this should be a habit, or it should be always, because they stand for immigrants. Due to COVID-19, the suspension of public services in the first wave, at least 50,000 cases were pending in SEF. And SEF is the immigration authorities that issues or handles the documentation process in Portugal for foreign citizens who applied for legalization until March, the day on which the state of emergency was declared in Portugal. Since the situation was not regularized for all foreigners, the government decided to extend the deadline to those who applied for legalization until October 15, 2020. So, as I said earlier, during the first state of emergency, such law was passed, and an extension has been made to cover those who did until 15th October 2020. And if they present evidence that they are waiting for a response from SEF, they may also have access to the National Health Service user card, as well as having right to benefit or support, including self-employed workers. So if you are a self-employed worker, this can be a benefit to such people. According to the order published this Sunday night in Diario da República, the intention is to maintain the effect of the aforementioned order on the date of the declaration of the state of emergency, guaranteeing the right of all foreign citizens with lawsuit pending in the SEF, and that they are in the situation of regular stay in national territory. The decision also aimed at the extension of the pending cases in the SEF covered by the effect of the said order, extending the scope of the order from date of the declaration of the state of national emergency until the 15th of October 2020. So, the self-rescheduling document or receipt with the order, the so-called expression of interest, that was, I said, manifestation of interest, or the order issued by the service platform, will serve as proof to have these benefits. So if you are in the country, this is going to serve as an evidence to get access to discount benefit. Once a proof that you have submitted an application in the SEF portal, sapa.pt, that's a document that shows that you have made a manifestation of interest. So these documents are considered valid before all public services, namely to obtain the number of users, access to National Health Service or other healthcare rights, access to social support benefits, signing of lease contract, signing of employment contract, opening bank accounts, and contracting essential public services, such says the Dispatch. So it was the Dispatch News who reported this. So, from the Parliament, a few days ago, the Minister of Internal Administration, Eduardo Cabrito, revealed that citizens who had cases pending in the SEF at the time the state of emergency was declared would be extended this right. So it's a good news from the Parliament, because I think they think about immigrants as contributors to their economic growth, because they were those who arrived after 18th March and in view of the aforementioned higher restrictions of right. So, as I said, they always think about us, but an appeal from the Jesuit Refugee Service says that, however, in the statement that the JRS recently called on the Portuguese government to definitively consecrate access to essential rights for people with pending regularization processes. So as I said, the Jesuit Refugee Services always stand for immigrants and always want their rights to be protected. So in the document, JRS considers that these extraordinary measures will have a significant impact on the lives of migrants seeking in Portugal an opportunity to rebuild their life in a dignified way. However, he questioned why foreign citizens are only temporarily allowed to live regularly with a full right. For JRS, migrants arriving in Portugal must have full labor rights, access to the National Health Service, and the Social Security benefit in exchange for their work. So they are fighting for all immigrants because they think that once you are in the country and working, you must be benefiting from all these services. So the integration into Portuguese society, giving them the opportunity to contribute to the community. So they think that immigration should allow all immigrants to integrate well and contribute to the community, because there are a lot of immigrants here in Portugal and really helping in the economic growth of the country. And not only during this current pandemic, but always, they always want to defend us. The organization recalls that migrants are also part of the country's economic recovery thanks to significant combination to the Portuguese state. So as I said earlier, Portugal's economy is recovering because of the number of immigrants in the country that are working for the government. And once you are working, you pay Social Security, which also helps in the growth of the economy. So the JRS is fighting for immigrants that this shouldn't be in a case where there should be a pandemic or an emergency before the government will do this, but it should be a habit of the government. So they stress that 2019, these revenues reached a positive net balance of 750 million euros, an amount that also contributed to the sustainability of Social Security. So these were contributions made by immigrants in the country. So they think that immigrants in Portugal are really helping in the development of the country. So if you are part of this group and you have submitted your document at the SEF portal, SAPA, and you are still waiting for SEF to give you an appointment, or you have taken your finger, that's you've taken a picture and you're still waiting for your card, this is an opportunity for you to access all the benefits as a resident. I believe this information is going to help us all to integrate and live well as we battle with this pandemic. If you enjoy my videos, kindly subscribe to my channel, like my videos, and share.